What's good, everybody? It is the first day of March. Welcome into Early Edge Live, our evening show. I, of course, am the coach. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting. Who needs Major League Baseball? We've got the National Basketball Association. Game start in 30 minutes, so we have no time to waste. As always, if you're in the chat, hit that like button for me. It really helps the show. It really helps us grow as a brand as well. Follow our YouTube page. It is free. Turn on the notifications so you never miss any of this content. Let's bring in the stars of the show. You know, if I'm going to do an NBA live stream, I'm bringing my two best buddies with me. Oh, baby. AB. Oh, are we having issues with production right now? Is this going to be a solo coach show? Because I'm hearing AB right now going, what are we doing? What are we doing? I hate these buttons. Well, you know, Mikey is waiting. Alex is waiting. And I promise you, Alex, say hello.
Hey, Coach. How's everybody doing? Nice to see you. I'm excited. I'm like the eye in the sky. I'm the voice in the sky.
Mikey, say hello.
Oh, this is fantastic, Coach. If anyone knows me, you know I'm doing DFS for the next 20 minutes or so. So not having a true camera on my face is a beautiful thing for a few minutes. Thanks, Andy.
I'm in my pajamas, Coach, so at least people don't have a direct view of that right now.
Well, I guess I'll be the only pretty one here on the show today. But while AB figures it out, I can tell you we have 6 games tonight in the NBA. And I tell you what, not only are we going to do NBA live streams throughout the entire month, we're going to do college basketball as well. So you really need to get our schedule and lock it in whenever we post it on social media. But let's get into storylines that could affect the betting lines, because I'm telling you, games start in 30 minutes, and there's one game, Mikey, let's start with you. There is one game that has all kinds of things going on because of injuries. Start us off.
Yeah, that's going to be this Toronto and Brooklyn game. And it's also interesting because they just played each other and now they're running it back again tonight. But for the Toronto Raptors, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby both ruled out. Andre Drummond out on the Nets side. This is a big deal. A lot of different usage distribution to go around. The Raptors starting lineup, for anyone who cares, is going to be Malachi Flynn, Gary Trent, Scotty Barnes, Siakam, and Kim Birch. That is their starting lineup for this game tonight. That equals a lot of usage and a significant hit to their defensive efficiency. So I'm going to jump right in and give you my first prop because I think we could see some movement still here before tip. Set over 15.5 total points, minus 110. I got this at MGM. It's also available at DraftKings right now, but I love this number for Seth Curry. Look, he's not this. The baseline for this number is being operated off of his old role. In this new role, especially with Drummond out, especially the way they're going to play and the lack of VanVleet and Anunoby on the floor defensively, that's going to open things up. Certainly a frustrating loss for them in the last game. He scored over 20 multiple times since joining the Nets. I think this number should be at least 18.5, given the current situation in terms of who's in and who's out on the other side. So I love Seth Curry over 15.5 total points.
Mikey, quickly, let me add, well, 2 things. First of all, classic AB, his power went out. So he is scrambling to get his power back on so he can control the show. Luckily, we didn't go off the air. The number hasn't changed. It's still at 8. Why is that?
It was mostly known. So these two teams played each other last night, the exact same matchup. They're running it back again tonight. It was mostly known that Fred VanVleet wasn't going to play after not playing last night. So that number's kind of baked in. But as far as not moving much on the Drummond news and Anunoby news, it's interesting that it hasn't moved. I would expect it to move about 1 point in that spot. But Andre Drummond just isn't worth much to a point spread at this point, and they might actually be better the way that they're trying to play. So I think that's kind of why you're seeing it. And then, of course, it's the second night of a back-to-back for both teams.
And look who it is. It's M Squared and PropStarz in the flesh. All right, thank you, Mike, very much. All right, now let's go over to Alex's storyline because there's a team that's not playing tonight, but they're about to get one very good player back. Who are we talking about, Alex?
Yeah, we're talking about Michael Porter Jr. After undergoing back surgery and appearing in only 9 games to start the regular season. Michael Porter Jr. just got sent to the Grand Rapids to scrimmage with the Gold later this week. They're Denver's G League affiliate team. That puts him on track to return before the playoffs, potentially sometime this month and in March. The Nuggets are looking good. They're currently 6th in the West. They've won 6 games in a row. 8 of their last 10. They're only 2.5 games back of Utah in the division, who are the 4th seed overall. As we know, Jokic is having another MVP caliber season. I think Denver could make a serious push come playoffs, and they're going to be a team that no one wants to play with a healthy Michael Porter Jr. in that lineup. So, yeah, I think that's great news for the Nuggets.
I got to tell you, man, I'm super excited. After the trade deadline and the moves a lot of teams have made, and with injured players that are going to come back, I think this postseason could be really, really good. Don't you, Alex?
I absolutely do. I just think that the balance amongst all the teams, pretty much any team could win it. It's wide open. I think there's like 8 teams that could realistically contend for the title. It's going to be very, very exciting and wide open.
Yeah, and it's 4-4. It's not 7-1. It's like 4-4. Mikey, what'd you have? Sorry, pal.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it also looks like there's a chance that Jamal Murray could rejoin the team for the playoffs as well. There is a chance that they have both of those guys back.
Really?
And I think that we'll see some minutes limits on both of them initially, even after the run-ups, but it adds some much-needed depth to that roster. I agree with Alex. I think they're an incredibly dangerous team in the Western Conference.
A very subdued Chief today, by the way, I might add. Very subdued Chief. All right, we got to get into our best bets because, as I mentioned, games start at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is about 22 minutes from right now. And then we'll break down every single game on the board tonight, so don't even worry about that. So, Mike, I'm coming back to you. You already gave us Seth Curry his points prop. What else you got for us?
Yeah, Seth Curry over 15.5 total points if you just joined. And then my second one's going to be Andrew Wiggins over 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. This one I played it at -120 over at Caesar Sportsbook. This is an interesting spot for Andrew Wiggins. So he's someone that I've always tracked in some of these revenge game type narratives that we have. As you remember, he spent some time with this Minnesota Timberwolves team. I went back and looked at some of his numbers across his career, and that is including when he had played with the Timberwolves. Averaged 19.4 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 2.3 assists in his career. Those numbers balloon up to 23 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists when he is playing against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Klay Thompson out tonight. That gives him about a 3% usage bump. And then what I'm looking for here in terms of him getting to some of this, it's not only the usage bump, but it's the pace of play. This Minnesota Timberwolves team, I talked about it a little bit in their second quarter overs, but just their overs in general and their pace of play, they're quietly playing with the second quickest pace of play in the NBA right now. That is a lot of extra possessions. When you see the usage bump, when you're playing alongside Steph Curry in a game that is projected to be competitive, I will lean into that revenge narrative just a little bit. I think the number's a little too low. I would make it 25.5 if I were line.
I think this game is going to sail to the over as well. Last night, to back up your point, Mikey, they were down 15, 16 points to the Cavs, and they made it up like that. I mean, they had it back to even at halftime, being down by that many points. They're playing better, they're good offensively, and they're bad defensively. We love that. We absolutely, that's a great scenario for us. All right, so 2 great best bets for Mikey. I encourage you to get him in as we are doing this show live. By the way, JK Geology says, Coach, give me something glorious to bet on, my friend. Here, glorious. That's just for you. All right, now, I know you've got 4 big best bets. Everybody can see them on the screen, but Alex, explain yourself.
Yes, I do indeed, Coach. First up, we've got Spencer Dinwiddie over 7.5 combined rebounds and assists. As we know, Dinwiddie was recently traded to the Mavericks from Washington. He's averaging 10 combined rebounds and assists this season, so we're getting a nice discount on this number. He's looked really good over the last 2 games. He played 31 minutes in the last game for Dallas. That's the most he's played since joining the team. Finished with 9 rebounds and assists. He's coming off back-to-back 20-point games. The Lakers also give up a ton of production to opposing point guards. I expect him to see a lot of minutes, potentially in the 32 range again, and definitely flirt with 10 to 11 rebounds and assists. So I absolutely love this prop. Next up is Marcus Smart over 5.5 assists. Smart has done an excellent job quarterbacking the Celtics offense. They have been victorious in 15 of their last 17 games. No team is hotter in the NBA right now. He's tallied at least 6 assists in 5 of his previous 6 games, with a lone miss coming in a game where he was injured and only logged 12 minutes. This is a great matchup on paper as well against Trae Young and the Hawks. The Hawks give up the second most assists to opposing point guards in the NBA this season. They allow 9.4 per game over 48 minutes. I think Smart's going to keep things rolling. He's going to initiate the offense for Boston tonight. This game projects to be competitive, hopefully, as well. I like this a lot as well. Next up, we've got the birthday boy, Luka, over 2.5
Luka.
Happy birthday, Luka. Yeah, he has been on fire from the behind the arc coach. Over his last 13 games, he is averaging 4.0 made three-pointers while shooting 42% from three. He's eclipsed this in 9 of his previous 13 games. He's attempting nearly 10 three-pointers per game over the last 15 games, which is nuts. In games that Luka has scored at least 30 points, he has hit this prop in 13 of 15 games as well. So it correlates nicely with his points. His projected point total is at 31.5. So the books definitely think that there's a great chance that he is going to hit the 30-point mark, which is why I love this prop a lot. Also a great matchup on paper. Lakers giving up a tremendous amount of production to opposing backcourts. As I mentioned previously with the Dinwiddie prop, I think he's going to have a duel with LeBron in a nationally televised spot. I love backing Luka here. And then last but not least, we've got Cat, not my cat, but the other cat, Karl Anthony Towns, over 23.5 points. Anthony Edwards is questionable. Good chance that he may not play. If he doesn't play, that's going to make Cat's usage skyrocket. He scored 31 and 26 points in the 2 previous matchups versus Golden State this season. This game has the highest projected total on tonight's slate as well. The Wolves rank 3rd in pace. Golden State is 14th, so I'm expecting extra possessions, additional scoring opportunities as well. I think Cat is going to be in line for a big day and against an overmatched Golden State front court.
All right, Alex, we got some things we got to dive into here. So Fire Sports says, these numbers, some are long gone. Alex, you're a prophet. We know they move as soon as you give them out. So what will we play some of these up to for the people that still want to play them and it's moved at their books?
Sure. So I'll go in order.
All right, well, Dinwiddie, sorry, that was the other thing before I forget. Dinwiddie's PAR is 18.5.
This is his RA only, rebounds and assists only.
No, I know, but they're asking about the PAR. Would you play that too?
Gotcha. Yeah, I do like the PRA if you don't have a combo prop for the rebounds and assists. I think it's fine to pivot to PRA. I definitely lean over on the 18.5. I think that's a very obtainable number for him. So yeah, absolutely like that quite a bit.
Awesome. Real quick, if you could speed through them, what you'd play them up to, that'd be awesome.
Sure. So as far as the juice is concerned for the 7.5 rebounds and assists, I'd probably pay that one up to like -135. I saw it available at -122 on FanDuel. I haven't given this out anywhere, so I do believe that line is still available. Marcus Smart over 5.5 assists. I played this one up to about -125. I do know that number is available as well. Luka 3-pointers. This one might not be available because I made this the feature play in my SportsLine column that came out today. If you can find this anywhere under -150, I think it has good value. So it could be floating around somewhere around that number. And then Karl Anthony Towns, haven't given this out anywhere. So I do believe that -122 number is still available. It was available on DraftKings and FanDuel right before we came on. So you should be able to get that one close to that number.
So real quick. So if everybody that's watching the show right now is a SportsLine member, they would have got your article when?
They would have gotten my article, I believe, around 11 a.m. Eastern this morning.
Oh, so 7 hours ago.
7 hours ago.
7 hours ago. Oh, okay.
They would have had access to Luka. They would have had access to Marcus Smart, and then an additional play that I have not given out tonight.
How much do you think somebody would pay to beat the number by 7 hours, Mikey? What do you think somebody would pay?
They would pay a lot, but the good news is they don't have to pay a lot. They can join SportsLine for $10 a month.
Thank you. Thank you. Mikey gets it. Alex gets it. It's $10 a month. That's it. You're welcome. All right. I just don't. I don't understand not being a SportsLine member. I'm literally. I just spent $10 right there. That's how fast I spend $10. I can do it on SportsLine. All right, let's get in. We got 6 games to get into, and we have 15 minutes before the first one tips off. I still have golf in my head. Sepp Straka, congratulations. All right, let's get into the first game. Pistons and the Wizards. The number is Wizards 3.5. The total sitting at 216. This is a 7:10 Eastern tip. The Wizards 7-17 in games decided by 10 points or more. Just an interesting stat. Mike, let's start with you. Your thoughts on this game tonight?
Yeah, this one it's interesting. We've seen a number of players kind of step up, mostly Kelly Olynyk recently. In the most recent game, Cade Cunningham has been fine, but he gets into foul trouble pretty frequently in these games, in games like this. So that's something to watch if you're looking for live betting angles, for example. But as far as the game goes on this one, I'm looking for it to slow down just a little bit. So where I personally am at on this game, I like the under. If I had to play it, I think that's the strongest way to play this one. I know it's not fun, not comfortable to play these these unders, but this Detroit team is not far from removed from a team that used to struggle to score 96 to 100 points in a basketball game. That's a lot of what we're seeing here in this spot too, especially when Cade Cunningham gets into foul trouble. So I like the under as my lean in this game. I'm not touching the spread where it's at. I think it's mostly efficient here. It's also one of those spots where if you had kind of, weeks ago, this line would have been probably 6 for Detroit, and it'd be a spot where we'd be talking about, okay, we're very interested in Detroit with the points, but I truly think this number is efficient there. So my lean on the game would be under.
Alex, February 15th, the Wizards beat the Pistons by 9. And to Mikey's point, Detroit only scored 94 in that game. Do you think we'll see the same type of game script tonight?
I think we'll see a more competitive game. I think the Pistons lineup with Grant back in it, they're deep, they're long, they have a lot of talented players there. I've been impressed with Cade Cunningham, especially if he can stay out of foul trouble. That's obviously a serious concern. But yeah, I've been really impressed with the Sadiq Bey. I think he is turning out to be one of the better 3 and D type players in the NBA. Isaiah Stewart at center, I think, is going to be productive tonight versus a sort of a smaller Washington team. And then as far as Washington is concerned, it's going to be the Kyle Kuzma show. No Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup. Kuzma is coming off of 70 points combined in the last 2 games, has an absolute green light on offense. I believe he shot at least 22 field goal attempts in both of those games as well. That's going to continue to be a theme for the remainder of the season because they don't really have any other guys who can create very much offense on Washington's side of the ball. So yeah, I expect it to be the Kyle Kuzma show for the Wizards tonight.
Real quick chat question. Big Cheesy 707. Cunningham over 4.5 assists. I do not have the juice. Thoughts, either one?
I don't hate it. The key for him is a competitive game. He needs the fourth quarter for sure. The one thing that I wanted to check on here, let me see if I can find it very quickly. So they've got some added depth tonight. Frank Jackson back for Detroit also. When they have all of these guards available and there are situations like that, there's always a chance that they lose 3 to 4 minutes, which can be super critical, especially in a high variance game like the NBA with the 3-point shot where a 6-point game becomes a 15-point game and then all of a sudden you lose a fourth quarter. Happens pretty frequently in this league, but I'm certainly not playing the under on it. I'll tell you that.
Okay, very good. By the way, Kyle Kuzma, the last time these two teams met, he scored 23. So you just heard what Alex says. This guy likes to play against his team. All right, let's move on to game number 2 tonight. It's a 7:30 tip. Hawks, Celtics. Boston has been red hot, Alex. They're favored by 6.5 at home. The total 227.5. Trae Young coming off a 41-point game for Atlanta. But the Celtics, they are 26-16 against the Eastern Conference. Talk to me.
I have been so impressed by this Celtics team. I mentioned they've won 15 of their last 17 games. Love what they did at the trade deadline, acquiring Derek White from San Antonio. Defensively, these guys are very, very good. Time Lord Robert Williams is a sneaky candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He has been so stingy against opposing centers. I believe opposing centers are averaging the least fewest scored points against the Celtics. So he is doing a phenomenal job of protecting the rim. This team is so balanced. They have just tremendous defenders 1 through 5. I've been super, super impressed with Boston. As far as the Hawks are concerned, they're still kind of struggling. They have some injuries. No John Collins tonight. DeAndre Hunter has been in and out of the lineup as well. I expect it to be the Trae Young show. I do expect him to have a big game tonight, but he has got his work cut out for him versus a very deep, talented, and just stingy Celtics defense who loves to slow things down. They like to muck things up and just really put a lot of pressure on opposing teams. So I like the Celtics a lot tonight.
So based off of the last 5 seconds of what Alex said, Mikey, that 227.5 number, is that attractive to do this with?
It certainly can be. Yeah, definitely can be. My worry is they they can still put up points in a hurry. With the Atlanta's 3-point shooting ability is my only concern. They're not really out of games until they're really out of games, 25 plus points, just because of their unique ability to shoot the 3-point shot. So I personally am staying away on it, but it's definitely the direction I'm leaning.
Okay. Mikey, chat question. Al Horford, over 19.5 PAR minus 115.
I don't mind it. This is one where he was close. I'll mention there's 2 players that I was close to playing their overs on just their point totals. It was Al Horford and it was Spencer Dinwiddie. I like both of those 2 players in terms of the opportunities that they should have tonight. I haven't quite to it. Horford, you need a lot of production early in that first stint. You kind of know what you're getting with him after that first 6-minute stint of the game that he plays. It would be one that if your book allows you to live bet props, I'd maybe consider something that way when you're getting a little better number. But overall, I'm staying off of it as much as I wanted to on the points. It's just one of those matchups where I still project Jason Tatum to try and take over more than anything.
Yeah, it could be 100 to 94, but as you mentioned, if Trae Young goes bananas and shoots from the logo, it could be 125 to 120. You never know. Quickly, chat question. Gotta get the bag. I love that name. First half under 111.5 in the juice. I lost it because it moved. Alex, I'll come to you with that. Minus 115. First half under.
I personally tend to shy away from first half unders, at least with the Celtics, just based on how they play. I think they kind of slow things down even more in the second half. So I personally skip the first half. I can see a scenario where Trae starts off hot and then the Celtics kind of make adjustments at halftime, clamp down on him a little bit. And then as far as the fourth quarter is concerned, they have been so good defensively when they engage for those final 8 to 10 minutes that the starters are on the court, that they've just done an excellent job of closing games, really just slowing things down. So I'd stay away from first half. I just think the Celtics are going to, if the under goes, it's going to be because of the second half. The Boston really slows things down and sort of stops Atlanta in the final half.
You know, all in all, I hate betting the first half in NBA games as a general rule. Like, I don't care if it's the over, I don't care if it's the under, because they play so many games. They usually come out kind of slow, kind of let's get our sweat going. There's no urgency in the first quarter for most teams. For most, but for most, it's I don't like to do it. All right, let's move on. We got game number 3 tonight. By the way, shout out to Milton in the chat. He says, I love this show. Guess what, Milton? So do we. Thanks for rolling with us. All right, 7:30. This is an interesting one. We've already seen a couple of best bets from this game. Nets, Raptors, the number is at 8, total 218.5. This is a rematch from last night in Brooklyn when the Raptors won by, wait for it, 36 points, 133-97 without Fred VanVleet. So don't have that excuse. And you heard Mikey talk about all the injuries. Everything has changed tonight, but they will still play back-to-back nights. Nets lead the series 2-1. Mikey, let's start it off with you.
Yeah, it's tough. You look at that last night's result. They're playing the same teams. They're beat up. It's hard to not want to lean in the direction of the Raptors. Fortunately for me, I run the computer, and the computer doesn't allow me to do that, so I'm not going to be doing it. I have the number at 7 is where I have it, believe it or not. So if you looked at this number, even with the situation yesterday, so this line opened yesterday at the time that the game before tipped, essentially, when those lines first initially come out. And this one opened at 4. It was Raptors -4. Now they're ballooned up to 7.5 or 8 without OG Anunoby and Fred VanVleet. Losing Drummond actually can help the offensive efficiency quite a bit for the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, they give up some of the offensive rebounding opportunities, but I'm staying away from it. If you made me play it at the new number at 8.5, I would probably play the Nets at 8.5, to be honest with you. Again, keep in mind, it's the second night of a back-to-back for both of these teams. Just a situation that I would likely avoid. But if you had to play it for me, it's going to be taking the points here with the team that just got embarrassed last night.
I'm glad you mentioned that because, Alex, let me come to you. The Nets, 9 of their last 10 games to the over. The Raptors, 2 straight games to the over. But Mikey just said, back-to-back nights, sometimes they can play like their legs are in mud. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with Mikey. If there was a side here that I would lean, it would be the Nets with the points. It's extremely rare in the NBA for a team to get blown out 2 nights in a row when they're playing the same team twice in a row. That just doesn't happen. These guys just are too competitive. Furthermore, this Raptors team is very depleted. Mike mentioned how many starters they're missing. I'm interested to see if we're going to see Scotty Barnes just go absolutely crazy. Last night had a season or a career high considering he's a rookie. 28 points last night against the Nets. Looked absolutely phenomenal. Really impressive. He was initiating a lot of offense as well. Also, Spicy P, Pascal Siakam. I actually like his assist prop tonight. If you could find that at 4.5, especially with no Fred VanVleet in the offense, I do believe the offense is going to run through Pascal tonight. You can get him at over 4.5. I think it's a great play. If you can get him at 5.5 for plus money, I also like that as well.
Oh, I love that. Bonus plays my man Alex is giving out. By the way, how about Pooh Bear in the chat? Pooh Bear says, oh, the wrestler, the genius, and the SoundCloud rapper. Man, have I missed you guys. That is so kind of him to call me a genius. Thank you, Pooh Bear. I think I'm pretty smart sometimes.
Mike is a great wrestler, too.
Yeah,
I wrestled in middle school. Hey, I wrestled at 95 pounds in 8th grade here, you know.
There you go, baby. Tough is your middle name. By the way, Jay Soper in the chat says we should have had a showdown. Mikey B on the morning show was on the Raptors. And M Squared, he said if I had to, though. That's not a showdown. Not if I had
no, it's definitely not an official play for me on that.
Yeah.
But if I were forced to play it, I would take 8.5.
Also, a lot has changed between this morning and now as far as the lineups are concerned. So I think Mike B maybe had some different information at that point in the day.
He might. You know me. I'm always going to do this a little bit, though. You know me. I'm always. By the way, did you guys see that I won a showdown last night with Chip? How sick was that, Coach? Mike? Yeah, but how I did it was next level. It was the total was 156.5. He was on the under. I took the over. It went to overtime at 146.
Ooh.
Think about that. Yeah.
You know what they don't call it, Coach? They don't ever call it undertime. Ever. For any reason.
That's very true. And I haven't even heard from Chip. I haven't heard from him.
That must have stung. That must have stung.
It had to stung. Yeah. He paid me. But I haven't heard from him. Like, I tried to have fun with it.
Did he comment on the payment?
No, he did not. It was just
that's how you know it's done.
Yeah, I know. And it does sting. I mean, how many times have we talked about on the show, no matter what the sport is, when you play the under and it hits overtime, it's the worst. And then somebody on Twitter goes, how can you say that was the right play? You lost. That's it. That's the example of the right play. It's the entire example of the right play. All right, let's move on. Fourth game on the docket tonight, 8:10 p.m. Eastern time. Clippers and the Rockets. This is another rematch from their last game. And the Clippers barely hung on. Both teams scored in the 90s. They're giving 7 on the road, total 228.5. They didn't come close yesterday. The Rockets have lost 3 games in a row at home, 7-29 against the Western Conference. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, this game was very strange. You mentioned the projected total was in the 230s, and just complete lack of offense. I believe Kevin Porter Jr. was within the last hour. He was ruled inactive in this game as well. That actually may help Houston a little bit, in my opinion. I do expect the Clippers to have a bounce back performance here, at least offensively. I do think that Marcus Morris, I like his points prop at 17.5. His PRA totals at 23.5. If you subtract the last dud that he had last night, he has actually killed Houston in the past. So I do like Marcus Morris a lot tonight. I am interested to see Reggie Jackson's assist prop. I believe that's at 6.5. He's had at least 7 assists, I believe, in 7 of the last 9 games. The previous 2 games, he's had 6 assists. A lot of assist opportunities that he missed out. And like I said, that game had less than 200 points, and he still had 6 assists. So if this gets anywhere close to this total that's creeping up towards 230, you have to imagine that Reggie Jackson is easily going to eclipse that number. So yes, as props are concerned, I do think this is going to be a bounce-back game. I do think that both offenses are going to show up here, and we're going to see a lot of points from both sides.
So, Mikey, how difficult is it as a sports bettor when you see a game like what Alex is talking about that's 99-98 just the day before, and then you say because of some adjustments, we could see a lot more points than that the very next day? How difficult is that?
Yeah, it helps to have a short-term memory there. It really helps to throw that one out, and just understand that when you see something like that, while it obviously happened and it can happen, it's well within range of outcomes. It's very far from the expectation. So when you look at a betting line here at 228.5, that should be your expectation on average for the most part, right? It's a market with very sharp people putting money on both sides of the game, and that is the price that they've agreed on where they have stopped betting on the game. So the consensus is that is where the game should be. Yes, it happens. So like you watch someone shoot Steph Curry, you see a game with Curry shoot 2 of 19. It happens. Doesn't happen often, but it happens well within the possible range of outcomes. Not something that should be expected. Very similar to the Nets game. In my opinion, like if I was analyzing these games when I'm running them through simulations, those games get totally thrown out, not considered whatsoever. Those games are treated as outliers, and that is what I would recommend doing for almost every situation where it's going to miss by 30 plus points.
Alex, there has to be somebody new to the show watching in the chat right now going, is Coach really the genius of these three? And Mikey the wrestler? Because when I listen to Mike, that's what they're thinking. No, if you're new, Mikey's the genius. I'm the wrestler. He's the rapper. All right. And I think that's pretty clear. I think that's pretty clear after that last explanation, if you know what I mean. All right. By the way, Marcus Morris averaging 18 points a game in his last 10 games for those same Clippers. All right. Moving on. We got 2 games left to get to. 8:10 p.m. Eastern time. Warriors on the road in Minnesota. -1.5. Total of 232.5. Steph Curry, 9th in the league in scoring, 26 points a game. The T-Wolves clearly, because of the spread, have gotten better. Mikey, let's start with you on this one.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so the number has ballooned to, it looks like 3 in a lot of spots here for the Warriors, which tells me that we could get some news on Anthony Edwards, who's questionable to play. Jared Vanderbilt, also questionable to play for Minnesota. Individually, they're not massive loss. It looks like Vanderbilt has been upgraded to probable. Is still questionable in this one. But what I'm most interested here is the pace of play. And then obviously not having Klay Thompson on the Wizards side. I like to attack this one from a player prop standpoint more than anything, but I will certainly be looking for in-game opportunities, and those in-game opportunities will be on live over game. We're looking for a potentially slower start from either team offensively. Obviously, the Warriors being on the road without Klay Thompson. If Anthony Edwards is out, it's a different rotation for the Minnesota Timberwolves. What I'm looking for is a slower start in the game and then being able to hit that live over early second quarter because I do expect points. We both touched on the pace of play for Minnesota. They are playing with the second or third. I make them all the way up to the second, especially in terms of my projected pace of play with their lineups that they'll be running. The pace of play, if you've watched Steph Curry for a number of years, that is a spot where he's going to thrive. And that's where I personally expect Andrew Wiggins to thrive as well. So I got my best bet in the game and of the night really is Wiggins over 23.5 total points. But as far as playing either side of the game, I lean towards the Warriors, even though they are outmatched on the interior. But I think it's going to be a competitive game. But the only thing I could remotely get to is going to be a live over, as long as we don't have a ridiculously fast start in the first quarter.
Now, I know it's tough, but is there a number that when it's like 232 and you have a slow start, is there a number that you need it to come down to bang it?
Definitely if it's going to be like 217, 218, something like that, which is something that we can see towards the end of first quarters if this first quarter is a little bit slower at times. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking for potentially players like Patrick Beverley to get in foul trouble, things like that on the defensive end. Those really impact that. And then just overall game script. I think it's going to be competitive enough. What I'm looking for in terms of the live overs, I want competitive games for Steph Curry where he gets to have fun. And he has fun every touches the floor, but he really has fun when the game picks up tempo just a little bit more. And that's where I think that they'll really shine. So I like the live over personally, just because I think it's going to come down at least into the 220s.
See, that's an absolutely great point. If you've watched any Steph Curry games, it doesn't matter where the game is. It doesn't matter if it's a big game on Saturday night or a random game on Monday night. If he's having fun and he's into it and he's hit, then he just goes off. He just goes off. Alex, it was incredibly good betting advice. And that's the problem that I run into is I do that, but I do it at like the 6-minute timeout instead of waiting until the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter. That's a mistake I always make. And after that, I'm not going to make that anymore. What's your angle on this game tonight?
Yeah, I agree with Mikey. I think this game is going to be paced up. We mentioned Minnesota being top 3 in pace this season. The Warriors are 14th. I do think that Minnesota is going to dictate tempo in this game. We're going to see shorter possessions, and that definitely plays right into the hands of Steph Curry. He kind of thrives in those chaotic type situations. So yeah, I expect a high volume of attempts from Curry, a lot of 3-pointers. And then as far as the props I like on Minnesota, I love Cat tonight. This is just an overmatched front court for Golden State. I mentioned Cat had a 26-point and a 31-point performance in 2 previous matchups against Golden State this season. I just don't think Kevon Looney can really handle Cat down low, especially if Anthony Edwards is out of the lineup tonight, which it seems like we're trending towards, considering some of the movement with these props. We're going to see Cat's usage just sort of skyrocket. This game is going to be competitive, or is very likely to be competitive, has the highest total on tonight's slate. So yeah, I absolutely love Cat's prop. I think Curry's threes has some value. I think Patrick Beverley over 1.5 threes. That's a prop we gave out on the last stream, has some value as well here. He's likely going to take 6 to 7 attempts there. So yeah, there are quite a few props in this game with this high of a total that are very appealing.
I don't know what else you want. And this is also a game that starts at 8 o'clock, so you still got about another hour to get any of those plays in that Alex just gave you. By the way, Eric in the chat, we did in on Al Horford about 10 minutes ago. Mikey said he would steer away from it because of everything that needs to happen with that PAR to come in. Real quick, D'Angelo Russell, over 5.5 assists. Kind of juicy, though, minus 130. Alex, you want to take it?
Yeah, I'd lean over on this one for sure. I like it. I do anticipate him having 6 to 7 assists, or that being the most likely range of outcome as far as his assists are concerned in a paced-up game. I will caution, though, the Warriors have been stingy as far as opposing point guards. Their assist totals are concerned. I thought the real value as far as assist props were concerned was with actually Patrick Beverley. His line opened at 3.5 earlier today. It has since risen up to 4.5 at plus odds on most books. If Anthony Edwards is inactive, I think that is definitely a great spot for value.
All right, awesome. Mike, did you have any on that?
Yeah, I just want to back him up. Russell does see a drop in points and a bump in assist rate when Anthony Edwards is off the floor. And then to back up Karl Anthony Towns, his usage rate goes up almost 6%, which is a huge move for a usage rate that's already one of the upper echelon in the league, up about 6% with Anthony Edwards off the floor this season.
Fantastic. Do you guys know that we're making history here on the show, by the way? Do you guys know that?
I love hearing that, Coach.
Yeah, somebody's asked a question in the chat that we've never had before. It's historic. My man Chill, or my girl Chill, where are some of AB's plays? I don't know. Anybody's ever asked me that before. He's been killing the AB3 lately. He cost me $100. We've got $200 on the line tonight.
Love
Crazy.
you, AB.
A chance to have 5 AB3s in a row. We've hit 4 in a row.
That's
True
amazing.
Story. Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. It's amazing AB gets through every single day. We love him so much. Couldn't do it without him. All right. We've got one game left to get to. There's a late game tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern time, and I live in SoCal. I have to watch all the local channels, all the local regional sports networks that are burying the Los Angeles Lakers. And when you get buried at home by the Pelicans, that's an all-time season low. They would not be a playoff team if the playoffs started today. But they're home tonight against a superstar, Luka. The Mavericks on the road. This is unthinkable. A LeBron James team at home. Underdogs by 5.5. I would say that maybe this is, I wouldn't say never happened, maybe a long time ago, but not in recent times. This is crazy. The total 216.5. Luka did not play the first time. these two teams met. Alex, let's start with you.
After watching Los Angeles's pitiful performance versus the Pelicans, this 5.5 points may not be enough. That was one of the worst just examples of offense I have ever seen. Just Russell Westbrook at this stage just looks completely rudderless, just struggling out there to do anything. We've seen him just production-wise has just fallen off a cliff. He does not look engaged whatsoever. It is just LeBron and then all these other complementary pieces that are just trying to stay out of his way. As far as the Lakers offense concerned, there is just a very, very little ball movement, very little fluidity, motion on their offense. It's just so much ISO and it's stagnant and it's just really hard to watch. As far as the Mavericks are concerned, this is going to be the Luka show. We're going to see a duel on national television between two of the premier players from a previous generation and then the present generation. Luka also celebrated his birthday last night in Los Angeles. I am expecting a huge performance out of him. He's just been on an absolute tear. I mentioned this previously when I was discussing the Spencer Dinwiddie prop. He has looked really good of late. He's coming off of his season high with the Mavericks, scoring 20 points in the previous matchup. I talked about his RA line as an official play. I absolutely love that spot. He is settling in very nicely as a complementary piece in Dallas's offense. All these guys defend well. They play their roles well. They have a lot of shooting. They're able to space the court for Luka when he's able to drive and kick. I'm expecting just a first-class duel between two of the eventual GOATs. I think Luka's going to eventually get there. But yeah, I just think this Mavericks team is just a lot better than what we're seeing out of Los Angeles, who just looks like they're just lacking any sort of identity, and it's honestly hard to watch.
That's a great thing to say. It is hard to watch. I get every single game out here on I don't even have to have the league pass if I didn't want it. And I don't even watch the games half the time because I just can't watch. It's so hard just to get the offense going. So hard. Yeah. Anthony Davis is out for a while. Bottom line, they're just not a very good team. But Mikey, when I come to you, to me, this is about the Mavericks. When you come back from 21 down, more than that, but you had a 21-0 run and you beat the Warriors without Luka in the game during that run, how much confidence does that give the Mavericks tonight?
It definitely gives them confidence. They're definitely playing around with rotations ever since Porzingis left. They've had a little minor injury issue as well. So it's going to be it's a good matchup. I like the fact that it is a TNT game. Like it's a primetime game in LA for LeBron. He'll be up for it and ready for it. I think my favorite angle to play this game, though, is going to be the under for a couple reasons. Number one, Dallas, they're very slow in terms of pace of play, near the bottom of the league. The Lakers are at the top, but when you get situations where you get LeBron, you get Luka on the floor, those guys like to play ISO ball quite a bit. And especially when LeBron doesn't have Anthony Davis to help him. Yes, he will try and generate some offense at times, but I'm looking for them to basically use a ton of clock on the shot clock here. I like the under in this spot. Again, I think that it's going to be one where the Mavs play their controlled game with Luka in the half court, and I don't think the Lakers try to run as much as you would expect them to. And then when you look at the offensive efficiency of both teams, neither one of them cracks the top half of the NBA really in terms of offensive efficiency. So in this spot, we typically look for some of this, a team like Dallas and their overs because they're playing up in pace drastically. I just don't see that being the scenario in this version of the Lakers in this particular matchup. I expect to see a lot of LeBron dribbling, a lot of LeBron using shot clock. So I like the under in this game.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing that a lot more and more down the stretch because LeBron's going to say, hey, if we're not going to make the playoffs, we're going to make it with me shooting a bunch and trying to score 35 and will my team to the playoffs, which won't matter because they'll play Phoenix in the first round and they'd be bounced. I love that underplay. There's nothing. I know you're not supposed to do this, but Dallas is on my permanent non-over list because when I do put the over, Mikey, then Luka stands out there and he's the master. He's like the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA that when he gets a lead, he can milk the clock and just maneuver the game however he wants without shooting. And that it's so frustrating when you bet it over and you're like, I'm at 180. I got 9 minutes to go. I'm good. Then it ends up at like 208, 209 with a victory. God, I love doing this show so much. You guys are amazing in the chat. Thank you so much for being so interactive tonight. Don't forget, we've got 2 big $100 plays on the morning show. We have a jacket on the line as well. AB, show your face. A couple things. There's that big old goofy smile.
Yeah.
Now, was I lying when I said that we've never had somebody ask for your plays in the chat, or was I just being mean?
No. You weren't lying at all. That was correct. Like, Chill actually made. I'm going to frame that and put it in my house. So, yeah.
Real quick, because you've seen how these first couple of streams have gone. What would you like to say to the good people at home? Because you're always on the 1s and the 2s.
Yeah, so first off, I'd like to say anybody in the first 5 minutes, if you'd like to see me scream at AT&T, yeah, go ahead, hang on from there. But no, I think it's fantastic, right? And I like the flow of the show that you guys break down each game. You break down your best bets and also break down any of the questions that are in the chat. I think it's a perfect lead-in to NBA nights. So I'm excited, to be a part of it, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, however it breaks down. Each week it'll be different, but I think you guys have found something here. It's an awesome show.
Well, not you guys. It's us. We have found something. What do you mean you guys? This is part of the team. You're part of the team.
I like being part of the team.
By the way, for those people who don't know, a chance to hit the AB3, to hit a parlay 5 days in a row is next level. What are we rooting for tonight?
Yeah, so we're going for Oklahoma money line, Michigan money line, South Carolina money line. If we get all 3 of those, 5th in a row, baby.
And I believe 2 of the 3 have not tipped off yet. So if you want to play it 2-way, you can still get it in.
Yep.
I think that South Carolina game tipped. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I know 2 of those 3 are a little bit later. All right. Great job by you, AB.
Thank you, sir.
Get out of here. Get out of here. All right. Real quick, as we recap our best bets, I know a couple are off the board because we're after 4 o'clock, but some you can still make. Seth Curry, that's you got 12 minutes for that. Andrew Wiggins, that's a late game. Spencer Dinwiddie, you can still get that in. Marcus Smart, you can get most of those in. I think we're good on all of them. Yep. All right. You still got time. Very smart. Done by us. All right. Ghost Dog says, educate and entertain. As always, great show, guys. Thank you all very much for the kind words in the chat as we continue to grow one day at a time. All right. I like to end every single live show in the evening, letting my guys and ladies tell you exactly what they're most looking forward to tonight. Oh, wait a second, Alex. Did I forget something?
You did indeed, Coach.
Oh, did I?
A little
did
something.
I not? Did I not?
Did you not?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Mikey knows me by now. Every now and then when I'm taking a left, I go to the right. So we're not sure if I forgot this or not, but we're going to do it right here, right now. I don't know if AB's got the sounder, though, because you had me last time doing this. And so I had a little something planned for you tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. So the donkey parlay. And then we still have the little VJM to do too. See, I've got my producer hat on. What's our donkey parlay for tonight, big boy? Let's go.
All right, gentlemen, we have got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leg parlay, pays plus 1,100. Detroit at Washington. We've got Kyle Kuzma scoring 25 plus points. Cade Cunningham scoring 18 plus points. Isaiah Stewart pulling down 10 plus rebounds. Sadiq Bey, 1 made 3-pointer. Kelly Olynyk, 1 made 3-pointer. Put those together, that pays plus 1,100.
Alex, I'm going to take the loss on this one. This is completely my fault. I did not look at the donkey today, and I should have before we did the show because the game is already started.
It's okay.
And so we should have done it prior to 4 o'clock. So that's on me. From now on, we'll do the donkey at the beginning of the show before all the games start. So I'll take the yacht, and that's my fault. That's my fault.
Good, Coach.
All right, now we do have the VJM basketball style where we try to get into the brand new nightclub. There's nobody in the club right now. Just the lights are flashing, the music's going. We need some tickets. So we're going to pick the first basket of the game. Nobody hit last week, I don't think, or we would have been touting it. Mikey, who are you picking for the first basket of the game, and which game is it?
I'm going to the Brooklyn Nets game. Starts in scheduled to start in about 10 minutes. Probably starts in 25. I like Seth Curry, though. I'm on him for the points prop. We're going to get it started early. He's plus 600 to score the first basket. This is his opportunity, especially in the shape that the team is in right now. It is his opportunity to go out there and be the leader and be the offensive threat for them. I think he gets the first basket in this one tonight, plus 600.
All right. I love that. By the way, I think he's just joking around. He says, Coach, you should do one of these shows during the football season because we do 7 a week. I think he's just kidding. All right, Alex, who are you going with tonight, big boy?
I'm going with my guy, Sadiq Bey. I talked about how much I liked him earlier. He's one of the premier 3 and D players in the NBA. I absolutely love what I've seen out of him. I think he's growing into a potential all-star, potentially a very, very good role player, kind of similar to what Andrew Wiggins brings to Golden State. He brings a lot of those same things to Detroit. He is going to be a player on very good teams if Detroit can ever get their act together and put the right pieces together or around him. So, yeah, I love Sadiq Bey at plus 750.
Well, since that game's already started, we can tell if you won or not. Can anybody pull up
We
the
did win.
We won?
He won?
Sadiq Bey hit a 3-pointer.
Oh!
The game's already started, but yes, he did hit a 3.
Let's go.
I can verify this was in.
Yes, this was in. This was in.
He sent this in hours ago. Unfortunately,
wow,
the
you're
game
in
already
the
started.
club.
My first time. Chief.
You excited for him?
Chief came to congratulate me.
Chief, congratulate. He just said congratulations. That was crazy. Oh, the man's in the club. Could you do me a favor? Could you just talk to the DJ and see if we can get a little 90s hip hop tonight? If you don't mind, until the rest of us get in there. That would be really nice. I can't believe you did that.
I'll put in the word, fellas.
See,
I heard
karma.
Lord Geppetto was performing.
He's riding high tonight, I'll tell you that much.
Little Geppetto. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back. Oh, my goodness. I am so hyped right now. I
thought Mikey was kidding when he said he did. I was like, what?
Oh, man. You're the first one in the basketball nightclub. Amazing. Congratulations to you. But if I know you and the competitor that you are, one's not going to be enough.
No way, Coach.
Not going to be enough. All right, I'm going to go with kind of the storylines that we've been talking about, the superstar storylines. Whenever one plays the other, I believe they start out and say, you know what? I want to get my team off to a good start. So at plus 460, you can get Luka as the first basket of the game for the Mavericks tonight. Late start, 10 o'clock Eastern time. And I believe he comes down, does that one bounce, and then that one leg fadeaway. And I'll be going, Alex, giving him a big hug in the club. It's great to see you. Oh, that'll be a great moment. That'll be great. And hopefully Mikey's in there too. That'd be amazing. This is so much fun. I love doing this so much. All right. Now, I want my guys to tell me what they're most looking forward to tonight. And I have a feeling that Alex's answer may have just changed. So, Mikey, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the Nets respond after getting embarrassed last night. And then I'm going to be watching the Minnesota Golden State game. Anytime I can get to see Steph Curry, competitive game, not playing with Klay Thompson, Cat on the other side. I think that one's going to be fun. And then, I'm definitely watching the Lakers game as well. So,
all right. Alex, talk to me.
I'm looking forward to that nationally televised duel between, like I said, 2 of the best players of their respective generations, LeBron being the best of his. LeBron and Luka going head-to-head in Los Angeles. I think it's going to be fantastic. Wouldn't surprise me to see them combine for like 70 or 80 points. And, just to see an awesome performance out of each of them.
See, I think that's going to happen, and that's what I'm most looking forward to tonight. But I think the Mavericks are going to win by 20. And then, once again, the Staples Center is going to boo LeBron James. So then I can see Stephen A. Smith tomorrow when we're getting ready for the show, and I have it on in the background going, stop. You do not boo LeBron James. You don't do it. Stop. That's my best Stephen A. Yeah, he goes nuts when you boo LeBron James. Stop it. Just stop it. Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, we are officially done. But we're going to be back Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, same time, same channel. Subscribe. It's free. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss a second of this incredible content that we love doing all for you. So if you know this brand and you know this show, you know that there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. PropStarz in the club, M Squared, and of course AB on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. Tell your friends. You want to have fun? You want to be included? You want to learn a little bit? There's only one show you need to watch right here, The Early Edge. Good luck.